Because of Richard Dawkins' style of rhetoric, I think he frequently in the media and on YouTube gets a bum rap. And in this video, I would like to demonstrate that. First, I'd like to give you a video of a woman reacting to a tape of one of Richard Dawkins' books, specifically The God Delusion, her reaction, and then my video dedicated to her.
But I am intrigued and mystified by the disproportionate privileging of religion in our otherwise secular societies. All politicians must get used to disrespectful cartoons of their faces, and nobody riots in their defense. What is so special about religion that we grant it such uniquely privileged respect? It is in the light of this unparalleled presumption of respect for religion that I make my own disclaimer for this book. I shall not go out of my way to offend, but nor shall I don kid gloves to handle religion any more gently than I would handle anything else.
Well, I'm glad he's not going to offend us.
Chapter 2. The God Hypothesis. The religion of one age is the literary entertainment of the next.
Oh, really?
Ralph Waldo Emerson. The God of the Old Testament is arguably the most unpleasant character in all fiction. Jealous and proud of it, a petty, unjust, unforgiving control freak, a vindictive, bloodthirsty ethnic cleanser, a misogynistic, homophobic, racist, infanticidal, genocidal, filicidal, pestilential, megalomaniacal, sadomasochistic, capriciously malevolent bully.
Oh, okay, I'm turning that off. I think I've heard enough out of Richard Dawkins. Well, I'm glad he's not going out of his way to offend us. Oh my goodness. This is all coming from the Richard Dawkins God Delusion book. My, oh my, oh my. This is real science here.
Yeah, I'd like to make a response to the video, Richard Dawkins' Not So Scientific Agenda. I just wanted to respond to your reaction to his first sentence of his second chapter. In it, he refers to God as a number of attributes: jealous, vile, violent, etc. And you seem to assume that those were uncalled for statements about God that were meant in a maligning sort of way. But they're not. They're actually accurate attributes that one would have to agree with if one knows the Bible cover to cover. Now, if you had continued to listen to the book, what you would have realized is that he gives evidence for every single one of those attributes. Those are not attributes that he created. Those are attributes that are in the Bible. He is simply stating them to you. So I think it's important not to kill the messenger here, and I would encourage you to continue to read the book, because the attributes that he does give in that sentence, however difficult they are to hear, he does later on in the book justify all of them, and I think he justifies them all very well. In fact, as a Christian, you probably have understood that the Old Testament description of God and the New Testament description of God are very different, and much of that information does come from the Old Testament, though some of it does come from the New Testament. I think the problem here is that most of us grow up learning Christianity secondhand from a priest or a minister, pastor in our church, and we don't really read the raw material that all of it is supposed to be based on. So we get this wonderful vision, Christian vision of life, of how things are supposed to be, of how things could be, of how things will be after we die. It sounds wonderful, it's the good news. And we assume that the material that it is based on is likewise. The discrepancy between what we're told in church and then what is actually in holy books is gigantic. And once you start to do, as I did when I was in college, an analysis of holy books from the Quran to the Talmud to the Bible to the Bhagavad Gita, whatever it was I was looking at, what I was struck by was the drastic difference between people's behavior, what was being said in their holy temple, madrasa, mosque, ashram, wherever it is that they do their holy ceremonies. But there was a vast difference between what was in the holy books and then what was being stated in their holy temples. The reason is that these books were primarily written in ancient times when the morality of those times was in fact quite different than the morality that we have today. So for instance, in the Bible it says that slavery is okay. It says that it's okay to kill your children if they disobey you, or even if they disrespect you or embarrass you. That it is okay to sell your daughters into slavery. It is okay to kill gay people. It is okay to kill adulterers by stoning them. There are multiple places in the Bible where it gives the death penalty for things that today would be considered either in bad taste or somewhat annoying. Again, it isn't that Christians or Jews, excuse my yawning, Christians and Jews were bad people, and that now Richard Dawkins is coming along and telling us that these people are bad. It's the fact that all holy books written at that time have that kind of violence, that kind of allowing of misogyny towards women, allowing homophobia, allowing there to be slavery. That's in almost all of the books written at that time. So when you go to church, or you go to your mosque or your madrasa or your temple or wherever the hell you go, right? All of that is usually edited out. You don't hear about it. Why? It doesn't fit in with modern secular morality. It doesn't fit in with our modern concept of rights. What most people don't realize is our modern concept of rights is not derived from the Bible. It's derived from the Enlightenment, which was a philosophical tradition, not a religious one. Now religious people are trying to co-opt the Enlightenment and try to show how religious principles of Christianity can underpin these Enlightenment principles, which were created on their own without any help from Christianity. So we have this very weird situation where now it's like, okay, don't read that Bible. Don't read that Quran. Only read the good stuff. Ignore those sword verses in the Quran where it says, kill the infidel. Where it says, don't read that part where Jesus says, I came down to earth not to give peace but a sword. Ooh, don't read that part. Only read the good stuff. Well, if we're going to cherry pick our Bibles, we're automatically showing that they can't be the perfect and divine Word of God. So the question is, then how do we know if any of it is true? And that means it is all up for discussion and debate. And these scholars, these religious scholars, they want the debate to be just amongst them. Well, I think the debate should be between me and you, or me and you. And what they're trying to do is keep that debate from us. And what Richard Dawkins is saying is horseshit. The debate should be right out in the open. If you take the God literally out of the Bible, which clearly you and I don't, all of those attributes that Richard Dawkins discusses are in there. He isn't got an agenda of any other than a scientific agenda of utter truthfulness and of wanting to stick to the facts and wanting to stick to the empirical data of what's actually in the book, not the whitewashing that you get in church, not the cherry picking of data that you get in the mosque. Well, I don't know if this has clarified anything for you, but I hope it encourages you to continue to read the book, however painful it may be. And I usually end my videos by saying that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, but I wish everybody peace. But I thought it was a really funny video, but I think you're wrong, and I hope that you'll read Dawkins' book, because it is a wonderful book and it's very entertaining.